On Friday, August 22, 2025, South Carolina was gripped by a relentless deluge that transformed streets into rivers, neighborhoods into lakes, and daily life into a desperate scramble for safety. What began as a forecast for heavy rain quickly escalated into one of the most severe flash flood events in recent memory, prompting urgent warnings, mass evacuations, and a statewide emergency response. While Hurricane Erin churned far offshore in the Atlantic, its indirect influence, combined with a stalled cold front and a slow-moving low-pressure system, created a volatile atmospheric cocktail over the southeastern United States.
This is my front yard.
Thunderstorms erupted across the region, dumping torrential rain over the Midlands, Lowcountry, and Pee Dee regions of South Carolina. Rainfall totals reached up to 6 inches in isolated areas, with Charleston International Airport recording a staggering 2.95 inches, shattering the previous daily record of 1.58 inches set in 2008.
Water flotation device.
The stationary front stretched from the Gulf Coast, enhancing thunderstorm activity and locking moisture over the state. The National Weather Service, NWS, issued flash flood warnings across multiple platforms, urging residents to act now and move vehicles to higher ground. Charleston bore the brunt of the flooding. By early afternoon, more than 40 roads were closed in downtown Charleston, Mount Pleasant, and North Charleston. Water surged through historic streets, inundating homes, businesses, and vehicles. If you are in downtown Charleston, consider moving to your car to higher ground now, posted NWS Charleston on X. Residents of Shadowmoss Plantation reported swollen creeks and ponds overflowing into roads, with emergency crews struggling to reach stranded individuals. The city's drainage infrastructure, already strained by aging systems and rising sea levels, buckled under the pressure. Charleston Water issued a stark warning: avoid floodwater. Stormwater contains high levels of bacteria, whether or not wastewater is involved. The risk of waterborne illness loomed large, especially in low-lying areas where floodwaters mixed with sewage and runoff. Hospitals and dialysis clinics activated emergency protocols. The IPRO ESRD network advised patients to contact their clinics immediately if access to care was compromised. Emergency shelters were opened across the Lowcountry, with the Red Cross coordinating food, water, and medical aid. The flooding crippled transportation. Interstate 26 saw partial closures near Summerville due to standing water. Daniel Island and Kiowa Island were temporarily cut off, with emergency boats deployed to assist residents. Power outages affected over 15,000 customers, with utility crews working through the night to restore service. Communication lines faltered as cell towers in flooded zones lost power. Emergency alerts were broadcast via radio and satellite, urging residents to stay indoors and avoid travel. Governor Henry McMaster declared a state of emergency by 3 p.m., mobilizing the South Carolina National Guard and activating the State Emergency Operations Center. Local fire departments, including those in Columbia and Charleston, deployed swift water rescue teams. We are witnessing a convergence of climate volatility and urban vulnerability, said Charleston Mayor John Tecklenburg. Our priority is saving lives and stabilizing the city. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, dispatched assessment teams to evaluate damage and coordinate federal aid. Drones were used to survey flooded zones, while amphibious vehicles navigated submerged neighborhoods. In North Charleston, a family of 5 was rescued from their attic after floodwaters rose past the first floor. In Mount Pleasant, volunteers formed human chains to help elderly residents evacuate. Social media was flooded with images of submerged cars, floating debris, and heroic rescues. "We lost everything," said Maria Gonzalez, a resident of West Ashley, "but we're alive. That's what matters." Community centers became hubs of solidarity. Churches opened their doors to displaced families. Local restaurants donated food to shelters. Despite the chaos, the spirit of South Carolina shone through. Experts warn that this flood is not an isolated event. Rising sea levels, increased precipitation, and aging infrastructure make coastal cities like Charleston increasingly vulnerable. "This is a wake-up call," said Dr. Emily Carter, a climate scientist at the University of South Carolina. "We must invest in resilient infrastructure, early warning systems, and community preparedness." The flood also reignited debates about zoning laws, urban sprawl, and the need for green infrastructure. Calls for permeable pavements, restored wetlands, and elevated construction grew louder. Charleston International Airport, which received nearly 3 inches of rain in just 35 minutes during one potent thunderstorm, has some roads in front of the international terminals covered in floodwaters and impassable, airport officials reported. Radar estimated that some communities outside of Charleston saw between half a foot and a foot of rainfall on Friday afternoon. Dorchester County, which stretches between Charleston and Interstate 95, appeared to be one of the harder hit areas, with several roadways that were impassable. The front has already left its flooding fingerprints in the mid-Atlantic. On Thursday night, flash flooding hit parts of southwest Virginia and northern North Carolina, where some areas saw nearly 5 inches of rain in just 3 hours. Roanoke, Virginia, received a whopping 3.39 inches of rain in just 1 hour, triggering a flash flood emergency. The NWS reported nearly a dozen high-water rescues as streets became submerged and vehicles stalled. Meanwhile, an active weather pattern over the past few days has brought scattered thunderstorms and cooler temperatures across South Texas. On Thursday, temperatures reached only 90 degrees at San Antonio, the coolest high temp we've seen in more than a month. Rainfall, though, has been hit or miss. The greatest rainfall totals have been recorded across the northwest side of San Antonio and into parts of Medina, Uvalde, Bandera, and Kerr counties. Radar estimates have shown 1 to 3 inches of rain this week, with isolated rainfall totals of up to 5 inches. If you've missed out on the rain so far this week, don't lose hope. South Texas will have one more chance of pop-up storms Friday afternoon. Here's what you can expect Friday and what changes are coming this weekend. Quiet and comfortable weather is expected early Friday as morning temps fall into the mid-70s under mostly clear skies. San Antonio temps will rise steadily during the rest of the day, reaching 80 degrees by 9 a.m. and likely hitting 90 degrees by noon. Afternoon temperatures are expected to stay slightly below average for August 22nd, topping out between 93 and 95 degrees. Even so, increased humidity in the area will still send heat index values soaring close to 100 degrees. Scattered thunderstorms are expected to develop in the afternoon. They will be the pop-up variety, meaning it's difficult to determine exactly what areas will see rain. Weather models show that rain coverage will be about 30% across the San Antonio metro area, meaning that only 30% of the area will pick up measurable precipitation. The best chance of rain will occur between 2 and 6 p.m. Rain chances will decrease after sunset with the loss of daytime heating. A moist, unstable air mass is expected to stick around on Saturday, resulting in weather similar to Friday's. San Antonio temperatures will start in the mid-70s, likely rising into the mid-90s by the afternoon. Pop-up thunderstorms are expected to develop across the area, with overall rain coverage near 30% once again.
Whoa.
Weather models indicate that a low-pressure system in the Midwest may bring a cold front into North Texas by late Monday or Tuesday of next week. High temperatures could fall by as much as 10 to 15 degrees in areas like Dallas, Wichita Falls, and the Sherman-Denison area.
Boom.
However, the front is most likely to stall before making it all the way into Central and South Texas. Temperatures may drop slightly, settling into the mid-90s next week, but we likely won't notice any drastic temperature changes. The weather disturbance may keep the atmosphere relatively active, though. Showers and thunderstorms do appear possible in and around San Antonio on Tuesday and Wednesday, but storms will likely stay hit or miss.